They always say that Mayor Gwynn is the best dressed man in Ocala. I think Kevin Christian just might give him a run for his money. Kevin Christian is a longtime friend. We've known Kevin for a long time, and typically we only run into him when we do the Student Media Festival. But Kevin, you and I have the music in common, and we've never really had a music conversation until just now.
I know,
off the air.
30 seconds ago.
That was kind of fun, though. I never talk music with anybody except for Robin.
Then it gets boring.
and we're not going to do that today either, not on the air anyway. Kevin is the Public Relations and Communications Officer for Marion County, for the public school system. And what are we talking about? The year in review? Oh, the year in review.
You know, this is the last week of school. And it's crazy to believe that.
Oh, I like this topic.
But it is the last week of school. All the graduations are over with the exception of community, technical, and adult education, and they graduate June 6th.
You have such a great voice.
Like well, I think
really
my next
do.
career might be radio. Who knows?
You really do.
But, you know, it's a crazy busy time for us as a school system because we just graduated just shy of 3,000 high school seniors who are now in the real world, if you will. And we've got, 40,000 other students who are wrapping up their school year this year and getting ready for the next year. And we're already working on next year. We have been for several months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How was the school year? Was it?
It's fast. Oh my goodness! It seems like just yesterday I was at Ward Highlands Elementary for the first day of school. Mm-hmm. That's where I have been on the first day of school for the last couple of years, and here we are, 175 days later. There's 180 days in the school year for students, 196 for most teachers, and 260 days for the rest of us.
Does the policies that Tallahassee does, or maybe even Washington, D.C., do you pull your hair out sometimes with some of the things they hand down?
Well, I tell people I didn't have gray hair until I started working for the school system, but at least I have hair.
It becomes you, though.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about the white elephant in this community is the transgender issue. It has been a huge issue for our district, for our school board.
What is the real mandate? Are they saying showers? See, bathrooms, bathrooms, that's not such a big deal, I guess. I mean, just me. I'm not saying that everybody should accept it.
Right. You have to realize
But showers, how would you handle showers?
I don't know how you do that.
See, that to me, that would be the part where the girls would...
Well, there's so many different opinions on this, as you guys well know. Ultimately, I think it's going to play out in the court system because that's the only place where a definitive answer can be made. There are people on both sides of this issue and on all 14 sides because, as you well know, there's more than two sides to any issue. But I hesitate to say order, but this strong suggestion that came from the Department of Justice and the Department of Education a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Our school board made a very strong stance a month ago tomorrow and said 4-1 that if you are born a boy, you go to the boys' bathroom. And if you're born a girl, you go to the girls' bathroom. And if you're not comfortable with that, then the school can offer you a gender-neutral bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Which seems fair. It seems like a good alternative.
It's how we've handled it for years. But, times are changing and society has changed. And this is certainly an issue that has come before us and is not going to disappear anytime soon.
But I like the words that you used, strong suggestion by the federal government, because then it's like they're strong-arming the school system.
Well, there's millions of dollars at stake. Now, granted, in other school districts who have gone against such directives, that funding has not been withheld yet. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's what our school board is standing with. But, I brought that topic up because I figured it would come up at some point, and we've put it out there and we've discussed it.
It's a good topic.
This community knows how our school board stands.
It goes beyond schools. They're talking about the rest areas on the highways.
Any public facility.
This is where I go, when I'm driving. And I have just one message. If you're born a lady, here's the rules. We don't talk to each other, okay?
That's the truth, isn't it?
And yeah, if you're going to talk, you got to use the ladies' room.
Well, why don't we move on? How's that?
Yeah.
No, it is the last week of school, and
do you know what we notice? Because we're only in the schools once a year when we help out with the judging.
Media Festival. Sure.
What we notice is that you're always up to date with technology. There's always a new computer. In the Student Media Festival, they've gone from old VHS. What do you call
Yes.
them? I don't remember what they were called now.
Yeah,
Yes.
And now they're all digital. I mean, not even CDs anymore.
The
DVDs.
entries are submitted on thumb drives. Yes, they are computer files that are created on a computer. Now, the students still go out and shoot them with cameras, but they're high definition cameras now. There's no tapes anymore. There's no videotapes. Everything is shot to a memory card that's the size of your thumb, and it's imported into the computer, and they work their magic. And
one of the things that America still holds the standard on is film production.
Absolutely.
We're still the place the world looks to for how do you make movies.
There's only one Hollywood.
Yeah, and Marion County, I know you say this every time at the student film, that's how we know this, but these students right here are the ones that rise to the top, not Miami, not Tampa.
Every district has its own, but you know what? Our students, as a whole, our district submits more videos to state-level video competitions than any other district, and we have more first-place finishes than any other district in the state.
Yeah, that says something. I mean,
It absolutely does.
Unfortunately, though, the kids who become really good at this probably have to move out of town, correct me if I'm wrong, in order to pursue that as a career.
You have to go where the industry is. But, you know, there are events and companies that work to move those efforts back to Marion County at some point. The Silver Springs Film Festival is a perfect example.
Right.
And they've been very supportive to our students. But, you know, it's a tremendous opportunity for students to be involved in electronic communications. And, you know, we have a local company here. I'm not going to name them, but, you know, they were founded by a Marion County High School graduate and a retired teacher of TV production
Is that
in Marion
right?
County Public Schools. And they're hugely successful.
What's the first letter? What, you know one name?
D,
T.
as in digital.
What's the second? Oh, the first word is digital?
Yes.
I love this game.
Well, I want to know. I don't know why you're not telling us.
That's right.
You don't want to give them a free ad? Oh, is that that's your TV background?
It is.
Okay.
Now, I'll give Digital Fury is the company, and they've
Okay.
been great to us as a district. They've helped us out and helped our students out and have produced videos for us that really look great.
Huh. And how do you use videos? How does the school system use videos?
We have our own YouTube channel, first and foremost. We also have the Marion Education channel, which is available over the air in this community and on virtually every cable system. Now, we're not on satellite.
Can I ask you a question? Why, when we do the student thing, why do I always look so fat in those videos? I'm not that fat, am I?
It must be the camera, you know. Must be the cameras.
Well, you got like 3 cameras on us, so that explains it. You have all of the information venues wired too. I mean, your light was flashing when you were out
Yeah.
there, and you told me about Duke Energy, and you were first to get on the news stations with the transgender issue as all the other issues.
I just believe it's important to share information with people, because if we don't share that information, then people go elsewhere for it, and it may not be reliable. And, you know, there are many times issues come up and decisions are made where I can't share the specifics, but I can at least share enough information to let people know that, A, the school is aware of it, they're doing something about it, and local law enforcement is involved if that's appropriate, or our own discipline department is involved if that's appropriate. You know, in this day and age where people have cell phones and social media available at the instant moment, we can't wait for information to be shared. We have to share that. Now, granted, there's some times where we have to wait a couple of hours. If it's a crisis situation, we want our principals and our folks to work on solving that crisis, and then I will share information as it becomes available. But sometimes there's not a whole lot of information other than to say, yes, we're aware of it, we're working on it, and we'll give you an update as soon as we have more information.
and that's all the public needs.
Well, it's enough to cover their concern for the moment. But, you know, 3-4 hours later, then we need to follow up with that. And our principals have gotten very good with that, our assistant principals. We have quite a bunch of communication channels available to us. We use our Skylert system, which is the phone system.
Yeah, I was going to just tell you, that's a really good system.
It emails, it text messages as well. And parents can go into their own family access panel on our website and update their information, update those phone numbers as necessary.
Kevin Christian is here. We're going to take a little break. We're looking at the year in review for Marion County Public Schools. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accidents. For Monday, partly sunny and quite pleasant, the high 84 to 89. Mainly clear Monday night, low 63 and a few inland spots near 70 along the coast. For Tuesday, partly sunny and quite warm, high 85 to 90. And Wednesday, more the same, partly sunny, the high 84 to 89. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, Matt Wilkerson here, your mobile Verizon rep. But not just here, I'll deliver the phone to you in your home. While I'm there, I'll only sell you what you need and I'll personalize it to you. Want to have me get you connected? Then call me at 352-528-0020. I even offer unlimited home phone service for just $20 per month. Just call me, your mobile Verizon rep, at 352-528-0020.
Veterans are the foundation upon which our freedom is built. Listen to The Source, WOCA, each Thursday at 9 a.m. to Veterans News with Hank Whittier from Vets Helping Vets. You'll hear tributes, information on veterans issues, and stories that will make you laugh, cry, and feel proud. Veterans News always focuses on the military, past and present, and on our first responders. Veterans News is brought to you each week by Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery, keeping you blooming since 1952.
Need a mailbox rental but need more information? Remember Personal Service Center, 789-6683. How does $10 a month sound with just a 3-month commitment? Remember Personal Service Center, 789-6683. Mention WOCA and the setup fee is waived. Personal Service Center will email or text notifications to you when your packages arrive. Even scan mail so you never actually have to pick it up. Now that's service. Personal Service Center, 789-6683. Located on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street, Ocala. Look for the yellow signs.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
All right, 18 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for staying tuned. Kevin Christian is in the studio. He is the guy we go to when we need information from the schools. If there's a news item, quite frequently, we were talking about this off the air, that the Highway Patrol, for example, might tell us of an accident that involved a student. And we get the age, the name, and that's about it. But Kevin will give us some more, like the family, what the student was good at, et cetera.
Exactly. I think it's important to give an identity to those people who are victims, if you will, and particularly this child last week, as we've seen in the headlines. You know, not a lot of people knew about that 17-year-old student, but he had quite a success in his short life, and I just think it's important for our community to realize that these are real people. You know, that these are real people with real families and going through real tragedies.
Yeah, it was a terrible story. We learned about it at the pawn shop.
Yeah,
came on TV, 4 places.
Yeah.
So tell me about the year ahead, if we can do that. Okay. Academically speaking, are there new? Does technology change the curriculum immensely, or just a little bit at a time?
Let me first say technology changes all the time, first and foremost, and we're going through a computer refresh process that will take several years. We have upwards of 25,000 computers on our network.
Wow.
25,000.
Wow.
It's crazy when you think about it. But, you know, our students live in a digital age where they need to be trained on that type of equipment. And you hand an iPhone to a 2-year-old today, they know what to do.
They know what to do. Yeah.
So that's how we reach a lot of students, be it with a computer, be it with a Chromebook, be it with an iPad, whatever the case might be. So we go through a multi-year process where we spend millions and millions of dollars. You know, you go out and you buy a home computer, let's just say it's $1,000. Okay, well, that's a lot of money for an individual family. We go out and we buy 5,000 computers at a time. We place an order and they come in, 6 weeks later, and then imagine having to install 5,000 computers.
That's
we
a good
have
job.
Are they all, when
technology
you say
team.
they're in the same network, are they all accessible to each other?
Yes, they're on the same
Wow.
network. Yes, yes.
Well, okay, that didn't sink in until just now.
It's
Just
just-
because I'm older. Otherwise, somebody younger would have got that right away. Okay.
Yeah, and the size and scope of just our technology network is just insanely crazy. I mean, it's just huge. Well, I mean, you figure we have 43,000 students.
Right.
We have 6,000 employees. So you're talking roughly 50,000 people right there. So 25,000 computers. You have computers in the classroom. And you may have 10 or 12 of those. Some
Right,
rooms may have 3. And then you have computer labs with 25 or 30 computers in them at every school. And then you have a teacher's computer. Every teacher has their computer. So you're talking thousands
How
upon
has
thousands.
testing changed? Has testing changed?
Testing has gone from bubbling in to pressing which letter corresponds to the best answer on your
Really?
computer screen.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Yes, and that's, we start standardized testing at the state level in 3rd grade, and that goes through 10th or 11th grade.
And
Now, not all of the tests are computerized, but I would say, roughly 75, 85, maybe even 90% of the tests have moved to computers. So we're totally dependent on technology, and when it comes to testing, we've certainly had some snafus. Last year when the new version of the FCAT, now called the FSA, was introduced, we along with many other school districts throughout the state had some challenges logging into that network for that testing.
Wow.
The state's gotten better at it, and this year's gotten greater and in terms of how smooth it operates. But it's still a massive, massive operation to keep all those computers networked, keep them up and running, and keep them updated with the latest software. Because the training that's out there, a lot of computer software programs that we use, won't operate on a computer that's 5 years old because it's outdated technology.
Isn't that amazing? Wow.
So we have to refresh them. So, we're in the midst of a technology refreshment program now, and I believe that goes through 2018-19 or 19-20 school year. So, that's 4 or 5 years from now.
And how about personnel that are in the schools? I mean, we hear about that thing about teachers should be allowed to have guns, but you have like law enforcement officers there.
We have school resource officers at all of our middle and high schools. That's an officer who is on campus every day to develop relationships with those students and to kind of be the legal eyes and ears on campus. And they would be the first responder in a crisis situation. Now, fortunately, knock on wood, we've been blessed this year to not really have a lot of those kind of situations, what we call code reds. We have had schools who've gone into code reds, but typically it's because of other activity in the area, and it's really to keep people within the school.
Some of the things I think that we as the public are reluctant to want to go along with, in hindsight, were things we shouldn't have resisted. And I'm wondering if there are any things like that we need to just kind of be a little bit more broad-minded about. Cursive handwriting, for example. I'm really reluctant to it being off. Like, it seems like a crazy thing to not teach it, but at the same time, maybe I'm old-fashioned.
Do you write in cursive now?
Hardly, except when I sign a check.
Yeah. It's not something that is typically required in today's world. Again, we live in a digital age, so you have a computer keyboard in front of you in your office. You probably have an iPad or a computer keyboard at home. And you're carrying a digital device that comes up.
So I
with a
like your
keyboard.
answer because your answer counters my feeling. My feeling is that we should continue to teach it. Not that I'm not willing to listen to what your side of
Sure.
the argument is.
Sure.
But can I argue with you just a second?
Absolutely.
What if I find Thomas Jefferson's diary? How am I going to read it if it's in cursive?
Well, we still teach cursive, but it's not something that is stressed every day of the school year.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So they can still read it. It's not going to be a foreign language.
Absolutely, but they're not going to be tested on it on the Florida Standards Assessment. What does this word say? And you have a word that's in cursive. It's not going to be tested like that.
Okay.
It is kind of a lost art form, if you think about it.
Do you know what I always wonder with fonts? They always say, what font do you want to use? I don't know which font.
You can get a font that looks like cursive.
Are more parents now being involved in the students' education? Because I know all the schools have open houses. When my children were there, I made sure to take them to everything.
Absolutely. Again, I'm going to go back to the digital age that we live in. Many of our schools utilize that SkyAlert system that I mentioned a while ago. It is a phone-based system, but it also has an email and text message component to it. So anytime I send a message out from the district level, if I have your email address and your text phone number, if you put that in Family Access, then you're going to get a phone call, you're going to get the text message, and you're going to get the email message.
It's a good thing.
On top of that, you're going to get a Twitter message if you follow our school district on Twitter. And at the individual school levels, many of our schools have Facebook pages. They have their own social media outlets that they utilize as well. So, there's really a multitude of ways to be connected with schools today.
Are the tests all recorded? Like, as a parent, could I go online and see how my son did on his test?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be a major test. It could be the quiz of the day?
It can be the homework assignment from last Friday.
Wow. Well, that's pretty cool. Last week or so, not to change the subject completely, but there was a story about, I guess some legislators want to do away with recess?
Well,
I guess for the younger kids.
Typically, we haven't had recess in a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there are 300 instructional minutes in the day. So that's roughly 5 hours of teaching. Okay. And when you look at how the breakdown for school districts is, many districts are on a 6-period breakdown. So it's 5 60-minute periods within the instructional day. And when you're testing English and math and social studies and civics and economics and language arts and all science and social studies, world civilization, all of those things that are tested. So if they're tested, that means the teacher has to teach them. There's not a lot of time left in the day for
to just
recess
go outside and kick the ball around.
Now, the state of Florida requires, I believe it's, oh goodness, I think it's 150 minutes of physical education a week at the elementary grade level. So that can be considered recess.
Okay.
But recess, as you and I remember it, it really doesn't exist.
Just go out and do nothing.
Oh, wow.
Just go out and look at the other kids.
Well, no. I mean, there are PE teachers and technicians at every school who handle that, but it's not called recess.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I totally wasn't aware of that. Wow. And anything else this past year that you want to talk about?
Well, the biggest thing for us, I wouldn't say the biggest, but one of the bigger successes for us as a district was the fact that we hired over 400 new teachers. We have over 400 new educators living in Marion County that were not part of our school district last year.
Oh, my.
And that's because of the voters. They passed the additional millage to support art, music, PE, and library media services. So kudos to the voters, because those 400 teachers plus have really impacted our school system and our community in a very positive way.
There's a teacher who shows up at the Student Media Festival every year, and she looks like my daughter-in-law. My daughter-in-law is a teacher. Do you know her?
I'm not sure that I knew that.
Jessica Whitler. I think she uses her married name. I'm not sure, because on Facebook she still uses her maiden name. Yeah. And where does she teach? Lake Weir Middle?
Yes.
Lake Weir Middle School. Yeah.
Okay.
But she looks like this lady who shows up. And I don't know the lady's name, but...
Well, we'll have to see who she is next year.
Yeah. I always want to say, you look like my daughter-in-law.
What's wonderful, Kevin, you always have hands-on with all of the schools.
Absolutely. I'll go back to the
Why do you have such a small office, though? They should give you a bigger room.
Well, we'll have to talk to my boss about that. The biggest lesson I learned in college was that you cannot not communicate. I'm going to say that again. You cannot.
Isn't this a wonderful message? Yes.
Because everything we do says something. Speaks for us.
My gosh.
If we're not sharing information, if we're silent, well, that's communicating very loudly. So even if I can't tell you details about what's going on, I try to say, hey, we are aware of it. We're working to resolve it. And hopefully that can be done very soon. It's just people want information. And sometimes that information has to have some time to mature so that it's true when I give it to you. Sometimes I really don't know what's going on, and I have to make some phone calls and talk with some folks to kind of surmise the situation. Right. But I will share that with you as soon as I possibly can. But the instant age is what gets us all.
I'm so glad you came in. I kind of wish we could have you in here more often.
I'm open anytime you need to fill time.
We'll talk about other things.
Thank you so much.
Kevin, thank you for coming in. What's the Marion County website, with the school website?
MarionSchools.net.
And what's the channel, the local channel?
It's called the Marion Education Channel. It's on Cox 12, Bright House 496, and Comcast 99.
Very good. Thank you, Kevin. Good to
Thank
see
you.
you. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. At one time, we were enemies. President Obama lifting a ban on weapons sales to Vietnam, a ban that had been in place for 50 years.
He said there'll be deeper defense cooperation, including equipping Vietnam's Coast Guard.
To work more closely together in responding to humanitarian disasters.
The president speaking here in Hanoi after talks with Vietnam's leaders.